or they released Vegas, which is when I did, I don't know, like in October maybe. Or no, right after that. Anyone, sometime around that time frame. And then Travis and I just were talking one day at the gym. We're like, dude, let's go to Vegas and just like do the real deal. Obviously, we did the simulation, but so we went, did did it. We actually did two races. One was a relay, one was a doubles, but I was really impressed. I know I've seen a lot of controversy. Obviously, there's the beef between CrossFitters and Hyrox and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, just go whatever's fun. Go do what's fun to you. Like I don't understand what people have to hate. Really don't. But
What's going on, everybody? My name is Carter, and with me, my guest, who is a full-time CrossFitter. He is a CrossFit coach. He's a beast inside this every CrossFit gym he walks into, and he's been on the show before. He's coming on again. I love to have him. The leader of Big Gymnastics, and also just got done doing a Hyrox race in Vegas. Jaren, my man, thanks for coming on again, dude.
yes, sir, dude. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course, man. So we're kind of going back and forth about the Open, dude. Like, how are you feeling? Like, kind of just what are your thoughts on it so far?
Yeah, it's been fun. Like I was saying, I think the first week was, as far as like fatigue, I think the first week was harder. Like it's one of those that you finish and you kind of fall on the ground and just redlined almost. Week two was a lot more technical, a lot more skill. Obviously a bunch of gymnastics in there, the big gymnastics piece. But it's been fun. I've been working on a lot of my weaknesses the last year, the last few months, and my goal is to just do the best I can and have fun with the community as like the Open's designed to do. So, but it's been fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I honestly liked week two better than I liked week one, just because, like I said, it was less painful in my
Yeah.
opinion. But they both were pretty fun. I think so far it's been a great test. For fitness, I think this week it's going to be deadlifts and burpees. I'm calling it here first, just to kind of wrap up, give the big boys some barbell to work with. But you got to do burpees to earn it. So, but yeah, it's been good. I enjoyed it, having fun.
I think this Open's been a lot of fun too, because I think it just like you said, it's a test, but at the same time, you get to have fun with your community, right? You get to hang out
Yeah.
and just make a big deal of it. I mean, obviously, you look at me, I'm not a CrossFit Games athlete by any means, so but my whole purpose is to see where my weaknesses are and hopefully work on those things, right? Have fun in the process with your community, with the people cheering you on. So
100%, yeah, I totally agree. That's as a coach and as an athlete myself, 99.99% of us will probably never be, and realistically, that's okay. A CrossFit Games athlete, but the whole point is showing up, just trying to get better every day. So you're exactly
cool.
right.
Cool. So you were talking about how barbell and burpees, right? Got to work for got to work for that barbell, right? Is that something you
Yep.
generally think? Do you think like as a coach, right? You're obviously in this CrossFit space. You're coaching. You're doing your thing. You're an athlete as well, right? We'll get into that here in a little bit. But do you think like what's the kind of time domain do you think we'll have for 26.3 for like if you're gonna have burpees and barbell? What do you think you're gonna have? Like what's the time domain you're looking at?
That's kind of just the rumor, the whole thing. Wadapalooza, they're doing it there. They've released some workouts. People have kind of cross-referenced what's been released, what hasn't, blah blah blah. But I think just for the sake of it being at Wadapalooza and teams of three or four, whatever it is, have to all do it together. I think it's going to be under like a 10-minute or less workout. I
Mhm.
think it's going to involve, like I said, deadlifts, burpees, or burpees and some other sort of lift. Uh, Moderately weighted, not like anything crazy, but probably like a 225 deadlift, maybe 225, 155 would be the range. I don't think it would get any heavier than that for the open, unless it builds. But if it's a 10-minute clock, it's kind of hard to build. But I don't know. That's just my educated guess. I think it's going to be a under 10-minute burner with burpees and deadlifts. It's hard to lift moderate weight when your heart rate's above 155 or 165. So it's once again, it'll probably be a great test of fitness.
Yeah, I'm living tested that too. I redline. It feels like ever since CrossFit, I joined CrossFit years ago. It feels like I redline 1 3 2 1 go. That's just
Not
no
to.
patience, no patience, no nothing, just no game plan, just throw caution to the wind, per always. But maybe one day I'll grow up and figure it out. But
It's hard not to. In today's day and age, I think a lot of CrossFit gyms are doing a lot better. As I
sure.
feel like back in the day, right, when the CrossFit started, everybody like their goal was to come in and absolutely just smash their bodies to where they could barely walk or barely breathe every single day. And I
Yeah.
feel like now with the science and the coaching and the affiliate programming and like everything going on, it's more of like it's still CrossFit. It's constantly varied functional fitness, but it's more of a strength and conditioning bias where whatever it is it's weaker, like you start with your strength if the strength is priority, or if like your goal in that block is to get conditioned more, you lift after. Um, it's hard, like you said, not to redline, or like I said, not to redline at the beginning, but I think today, like I said, coaches are doing better at programming workouts that are designed to be beneficial and skill increase, like EMOMs and alternating stuff. So, but every so often, I tell my athletes too at my gym, like this one should hurt. You should full send it, throw your head into the wall on this one, make it burn a little bit. But then a lot of times it's like, hey, let's spin today. Let's get better at your wall walks. Let's get better at your overhead squat position, blah blah blah. So, but it's hard not to redline every day.
Yeah, man. I think what I love like lately too is like you said, just different very like high functional like movements, right, and stuff like that. Just very varied movements. AMOM surprisingly have been my favorite thing lately. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just that's my favorite. Like you can do metcons and stuff like that, but I felt like there's nothing better than a good EMOM every once in a
I'm
blue
a
moon. Just
huge fan of EMOMs. Once again, like I do a lot of EMOMs weekly that's like more skill based. So like I'll pick two movements I'm terrible at, and then I'll pick one movement I'm good at, and then I'll throw 1 minute of rest in and just like build my volume and build capacity on those things and throwing in the rest time, throwing in the thing you're good at. Usually it's a machine just to keep your heart rate up. But EMOMs are awesome. It keeps you on track. Obviously, every minute on the minute or every 2 minutes on the minute to not blow up and just hit a wall. Like
yeah.
it happens. Yeah.
Sir, I mean, it really cuts the fat out of like what you're really trying to do. Like you said, you really put a movement in there you feel comfortable with. But with me, obviously, I don't have my L1, my level one for the people out there who don't know what an L1 is. But like I'm like, okay, what can I get better at? Can I be better at conditioning? What can I do in 1 minute that's good at this, or what can I be better at? Like at snatching, we talked about snatching earlier. With big gymnastics, which we'll get into, but like what can I do with technique wise? Can I do a squat snatch? Well, what can I do for like every minute has a purpose, and what
Mm-hmm.
can you do with that purpose? That's what I really
Yeah.
like about moms too.
Totally
It's
agree.
really cuts the fat
Yeah.
of your
100%. And as a coach myself, I love that. It's like, once again, going back to that point of like, come in today, let's work on something. You don't necessarily have to just be on the floor, red line, heart rate's 193. It's like, let's have
yeah,
some fun. Let's get better at a skill. Let's work on something. You know?
sir.
Yeah.
So I mentioned big gymnastics. We could touch on this very briefly. You were talking to me
Yeah.
off air. Can you describe what that is? Because I've seen it all over your social media. What briefly, what is big gymnastics? I had to ask you on air.
Uh, yes. I don't, somebody coined the term. It wasn't me. I don't know if it was somebody very popular or somebody in my circle, but somebody did it. I'll give credit to them if I knew who it was, but I stole it and I said gymnastics is like anybody doing gymnastics, muscle ups, toes to bar, chest to bar, high volumes, like 10, 20, 30, 40 reps at a time. It's like if you're above 205, 210 pounds, I call it big gymnastics. It's like it's a bigger human being doing really impressive work, moving their body in space. And it's like, I don't know, it's just a silly little term that I use that just being goofy. That way, usually I fluctuate between 215, 225 pounds, just depending on the dinner I ate the night before. But I feel like it's tough to be good at gymnastics regardless, and especially if you're that much above 205, 210 pounds, it's like that's legit if you can do that. So I don't know. Big gymnastics is just something silly and funny I say that just to I don't know, throw some shade at the little guys who beat me in burpees and pull-ups all the time. But I don't know. I'm just trying to make myself feel better at the end of the day. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. Obviously I'm not a conditioning guy so as you look at me, but I'm like, oh man, like my brother Brandon, who's for some reason
Mhm.
you see us both together. He's 7'15" for some reason, and I'm 5'7", 5'8". So he's good. He's going to be good at the wall balls, rowing, all the other good stuff,
Yeah.
right? But for me, I'm like,
Yep.
okay, what's snatch? What's do this? What's lift? I'm like, that's one thing I can
Right.
hopefully
That's your
bring to
jam.
my
Lift
brother.
the weights. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
100%. I
were
totally
you,
agree.
sir? Were you always a big gymnastics guy? Like I know you're always a strong guy. Like you can throw some weight around and
Mhm.
run, do that. But were you always like a gymnastics guy, or did that come later?
Honestly, it took a long time for me to get good at that. I came from a football background, and other than a few strict pull-ups here and there, like we never realistically did any sort of gymnastics, especially the kip stuff that's like so hated in this day and age. But no, I've never been good, never really tried before starting CrossFit to do gymnastics. Um, it's more football based, the heavier lifting. I got real strong when I was playing college football, and that kind of carried over, which was great. But in order to kind of get better at one thing, sometimes some other things have to give. It's real difficult to bring up everything without one certain ability of yours coming down. For example, losing weight and maybe losing a little bit of strength, but in turn you get a few more pull-ups or chest to bar. So it's always a fluctuating thing to work on. So, but
Yeah,
no, to answer your question, no, I've never, honestly, I don't even really like, still don't even really like gymnastics. It's just, I have to do it. So,
yeah. Were you surprised at all? Like, kind of talk about gymnastics in the open, kind of combine the two.
mhm.
Were you surprised at all whenever Castro kind of announced that there was going to be ring roll pull ups or ring roll whatever in the less 26.2? Or were you like, okay, or what are those? I can kind of in my head think, but I was just speaking for you. I don't want to do that. But were you like surprised, or were you more like, okay, man, like whatever, let's do it, let's get it done?
It made sense. I think a bar muscle up compared to a ring muscle up, a bar is significantly easier, just for the stabilization factor and whatnot. But like throwing in that little big, or I guess it's a big change, but like looking at the percentages and statistics that were posted after the open or the window closed to submit your score, like the range of people that were actually able to do muscle ups like was just way lower. And like you can obviously everybody was tired and their heart rate's up. That makes it 6 times harder. But I think it was a beautiful workout because it allowed the elites to push it and the decently people to break it and scale it at a good way to finish. But it also allowed the people that are not very good at gymnastics to get their first chest to bar, to get their first pull up, or some people I'm sure across the world got their first ring muscle up during that open, and that's kind of what it's about. So it made sense. I think it would have been the same for a bar. I think the workout would have been a little bit quicker, 30 seconds to a minute and a half quicker for the elites, but it made sense. I think it was a good full test of gymnastics capacity and a little bit of weight with the lunge, but
Yeah, I think
yeah.
26.2 is really good too because I obviously like for when I saw the scaled version, because I've been doing scaled, obviously, I'm like, okay, the progressions, what
Mhm.
can I do for this? Do like jumping pull ups? Awesome, let's do this. Or like, how
Yeah.
can I still scale it, but also progress within it? Like, okay, let's do ring rows. Okay,
Overhead.
let's do
Yeah.
something that keeps the same stimulus, if you will, but also like it's not going to
Yep.
be scaling too much where it's like that perfect volume. Like, but that was real fun because like you get
Mhm.
to really
Yeah.
strategize. And you're like, okay, this is going to be fun. That's what I enjoy about CrossFit at least.
Yeah. And as a coach, that's what we do all the time. Like we try to get people to understand the stimulus of the workout. So that's another good thing of the open. Like it really helps people sometimes when you have to strategize on your own and your coach isn't there. It's like, okay, this is how it should feel. This is what I need to do. It gives athletes insight on learning their abilities, learning their capabilities on what they should do. Should we push it? Should we not? Like just learning themselves or athletes learning their capabilities. So
So,
yeah.
so speaking of
Mhm.
like getting new abilities, learning new abilities, right? You did a
Mhm.
Hyrox race.
Yep.
What was that like? Like, what was first? Like, how can I how do we get started in this? How did Hyrox come about for you? I guess let's get it started.
So we started probably last summer, maybe slightly before that. Obviously, Hyrox got super popular on social media. A couple of the big dogs are like doing these things and running and doing all these stations, and CrossFitters see it and they're like, oh, they're doing ski, row, wall ball. I do that every single day. Like that's pretty simple. But us as a gym at CrossFit 806, we hopped on the train and we had a bunch of people that wanted were interested in training for Hyrox. So we started doing some Hyrox classes.
Awesome.
There was like one in the morning, and then the next day there was one in the evening. We were just kind of doing like a sample week. Uh, I did all the programming myself. I mean, I had been doing programming for a while. Hyrox was a little new. I did reference some things and made some decent programs, but we did that for a while. I realistically, like, I never personally did the class, like with the class. I made the workouts and tested the workouts, but um, I don't know. It was like a few months into the CrossFit or the Hyrox space, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do one. Well, another reason is we, as a gym, also hosted a simulation.
Oh,
A
awesome.
Hyrox sim is what it was called. Um, we did it at the Bushland courtside out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Luke, Cresta, Kyle, and I, we all put together this thing, and did we brought skiers, rowers, kettlebells. We just built a rig inside of there. Like it was a whole team. We had tons of volunteers, and like we put on a full simulation of a Hyrox, and Cresta ran it really well and had heats, and it was like a super cool little event. And Travis and I actually did that as the doubles or the duos, whatever they call it. And we did that one. I think that was last summer, and we're like, I mean, that was fun. It just realistically felt like an hour long CrossFit workout. It's like there wasn't to me, it wasn't anything just crazy special, but it continued to grow on social media. I was the Dallas 2025 Dallas Hyrox schedule came out and it was in like November or something. Or actually, it was on November 22nd because that was the day I got married and I was obviously not going to go to a Hyrox then. Um,
Congratulations, man.
but the next one, are they released Vegas, which is one I did. I don't Are they released Vegas, which is one I did. I don't know, like in October maybe? Or no, right after that. Anyone, sometime around that time frame. And then Travis and I just were talking one day at the gym. We're like, dude, let's go to Vegas and just like do the real deal. Obviously, we did the simulation, but so we went, did it. We actually did two races. One was a relay, one was a doubles, but I was really impressed. I know I've seen a lot of controversy. Obviously, there's the beef between CrossFitters and Hyrox and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, just go whatever's fun. Go do what's fun to you. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand what people have to hate. I really don't. But it was cool. They did really well at putting on an event. I think it was like to date across the world. That was the biggest attended event, spectators and athletes. So
Wow.
there's like 18,000
Jeez.
maybe in total. It was crazy. Like you walked into the convention center and it was like shoulder to shoulder. The line to check out of the new gear was wrapped around and um but yeah, it just literally was just a conversation at one of the 6 a.m. classes between Travis and I. We're like, dude, let's just go do it, see what it's about, make a trip out of it. We get to go to Vegas, have some fun while we're there. And we went and we did it, and it was fun.
Yeah, man. That's sounds like you had a blast recording. Like if it's the biggest attendance, so like today, like that's pretty cool that like a sport like that kind of grew like from nothing, not nothing, but like it grew like,
Yeah,
from its own like variant to where it's at now. It's pretty interesting to like to see like that aspect of it, if that makes sense.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. We did, it was Friday afternoon is when Travis and I did the doubles, the pro doubles at like, I think it was like 4 or 5 p.m., somewhere around there. But the Hyrox is 8 1,000-meter runs separated by 8 stations. I think it goes ski, sled push, sled pull, burpee, farmer carry, lunge, row, and then wall ball. Something like that, around that, something like that. Maybe you row before the whatever. But anyway, so the way it worked there was they call it the Red Bull start tunnel. So 90 minutes prior to your check-in, or 90 minutes prior to your start time, you can go check in, you get a wristband, you get an ankle tip timer, and then they say 10 minutes before you start, everyone has their start time through the app or through the website. You need to be in or lining up to be in the Red Bull tunnel, which is the start line pretty much. And they have a big warm-up area, runners, C2, skiers, lunges, wall balls, the whole thing. So you warm up, do what you need to do, Then you go to the start tunnel, and then there's a guy in there, two TVs. He's like giving you like it was kind of cool. They did a good job. It was like a little motivational speech, and they got the lights dim. There's some flashing lights. There's like TVs playing and music. It was really like really hyped you up. Already got your heart rate up before you even started. And then boom, you take off and like you're rolling. You do 2 laps, go to the ski, 2 laps, go to the whatever sled, and you just go. And it was fun.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like, because I never knew, like, obviously I never done Hyrox or any CrossFit competition. So just like hearing that, like, it's pretty interesting. Like to hear
Yeah.
that. What was like the hardest? I guess hearing that, like you said, there's ski, there's
Mhm.
burpees, all this different stuff, right? Just hearing that, like, sounds pretty scary. Like just hearing it, right? Because you're running and all this different stuff. Like, what was the scariest? Like, or not scariest? That's probably too dramatic. What was the hardest
Yeah,
station
no, I'm saying.
for you?
Realistically, like all of those stations that were in there in the row, everything included all 8 stations, like I enjoy, like I feel like I'm decently good at to a certain extent. So like realistically for me, it was that much volume of running that fast. Like Travis, Travis, like he's a runner. He can
Oh
run
yeah,
all day long. He's done multiple
yeah.
marathons. And like our goal was to keep each 1 kilometer like a 4:15-ish, 4:20, which is like a 7:30 maybe mile pace. I think our first one we came out, we ran like a 6 minute mile pace. I was like, well, you came out too hot, which they tell you not to do that, but it's like so hard when they just hyped you up for 10 minutes and then you start. And anyway, but I think we did average like a 4:16 or something over the course of the 8 runs. So yeah, so that would be a 7 whatever mile. So that was the scary part for me. Um, that was a lot of running. I've been getting into running more, training for that, but like that speed of running for that much distance, I was like, oof, I hope I don't fall off. I did catch a little bit of a leg cramp on the lunges, but uh it luckily it went away after we started running. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I mean, just I hate like that sounds kind of crazy. Like that would be the scary part, is like having a cramp in the middle of a comp. Just like oh
I
no,
could
what's going
we were finishing the run and I could feel it coming. I always get a cramp on my right teardrop, which is the bottom right by your knee, the
on? Oh yeah,
quad muscle. For some reason, that one muscle just always cramps all the time. And I started to feel it when we were running going into the lunges. I was like, oh no. Luckily, with like doubles, you can split the stations, however. So we obviously strategized a little bit. I did more of like the sled push and the sled pull. He did more of the burpees and the lunges. So I got a little bit of a rest to kind of catch my breath and whatnot. And he did more burpees too, but I rode more and skied more. Anyway, we had a good teamwork way of doing things. But yeah, it was a lot of running. It felt like I was like, this is never ending.
like hey, but hey, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah. I wish he could have just ran the whole thing for me, but
Yeah, I'll meet you at this station.
yeah, I'll just hang out here. You go run.
So it kind of explained to me. Obviously, I don't know much about Hyrox, so like, only experience I know is from CrossFit comps, right? There you go.
Mhm.
So you can go individual. So just strictly just from me talking about CrossFit. I've never competed in a CrossFit comp, but just the comps I've been to, there's individual, there's
Yep.
team, all this different stuff, right? But within those team and individual, you go scaled, RX, intermediate, so forth,
Mhm.
right? How
Yep.
is what is that similar at all to Hyrox? It also, I guess, secondly, sorry to tack so much on you, but I still thought of this. How is your training for Hyrox varied, if any, from
Mhm.
CrossFit?
So I'll start with the first part. It's very similar to a CrossFit comp. So there's men, women, and mixed. So mixed is a male, female. Each one of those divisions has, they call it the open, which is kind of like the scaled, and then they have the pro, which is the RX, if you will. So each division within the male, male, female, female, and male, female have an open and a pro division.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have the solos, obviously, male, female, open, pro, scaled RX. And then the last thing they have is the relay, which is all male, all female, mixed, male, male, female, female. And I'm pretty sure the relay is all open weights or the scale weights. Like so it's more of like a sprint relay. Um,
So sorry to cut you off. So is relay like a relay? I'm thinking of like, okay, you do this station, I'll meet. Like, how is that? Like, do you that what you mean by relay? Like, one
yeah,
person does this.
so we actually did it. So we Travis and I finished. We started, I think it was 4:45 was our start time. We finished, we were an hour six, which is so we finished at
That's pretty.
5:51 to be exact. And at 7 p.m. or at 6:50 p.m., we did the relay race. So we had like 40 minutes of rest and then we had to go over a warm up again and do another one. But uh yeah, the way it works, it's like a relay. So like each person has to do two stations. I'm sorry, yeah, two stations and run two 1Ks. And you can split that up however you want. So like for example, if you and I are on a team, I would let's say I run a 1K, first station skier. I do the skier. I
Mhm.
come back to where I started, and your teammates are like waiting at this like corral area, and you kind of have to like watch to see when your teammate comes through the tunnel and run this way, and then when your teammate starts to make the turn, the next person steps up. You have to give them a tag, and then that second person starts the 1K, and then they would go to then the sled push. And you can do any order you want. I'm pretty sure you just can't go back to back. It's like I couldn't go straight run, ski, and then run sled. I don't think I'm not 100% positive. But yeah, it's like a four-man relay or four-woman relay. It was really fun. They did like a Friday night lights event. They turned all the lights off. They had like strobe lights and like three DJs in there, and it was really cool.
That's
But
dope.
we were so tired. We had just finished a full Hyrox and like 30 minutes rest. I didn't even eat anything. I drank like half a water bottle and it was like, all right, I gotta go again. But I mean, realistically, I only did two stations. But on the bad side of that, they were like you sprinted them. Like you were like both of my 1Ks were like three mid threes, upper threes. And then my ski time, I did ski and wall ball. Those are my two on the relay, which is good because ski was first, wall ball's last, which is a good thing because I got rest. But on the other hand, I had a 30-minute, 35-minute rest where I had to like cool down and then re-warm up. I was so beat, dude. It was such a long night. But my ski time was like a 3:30, no, 3:40 something. Like I was moving quick. And then I did all 100 wall balls unbroken at the very end. Yeah.
Jeez, you could have thrown in 50 more there and done Karen.
Honestly, I feel like I could have. I just that adrenaline was so it was there, and like everybody's there watching you. The strobe lights are going. But it wasn't a 20, it was a 14-pound ball though, so it's not that cool in my opinion.
Oh,
Because but to be fair, it's at the very, very end of a full high rocks and then like two sprints. So 100 wall balls unbroken. Still cool. But if you do
yeah.
that in the singles division, I think you get like a patch if you do 100 wall balls broken, I think. I don't know.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so we did it was the duo, the doubles, and then the relay within like an hour of each other. It was really fun.
Jesus. So the fittest, your actual Hyrox event, then going to do a relay. Was that just
Mhm.
like that sounds so crazy? It feels like a lot. Like we think of CrossFit, right? Like, work a class hard, but the fact that like
Mhm.
that's an hour, like a solid hour, but you're
Yeah.
warm up, you're stretching, you're
Mhm.
doing your strength training, you're doing your workout, but your workout can be 10 minutes. It could be an EMOM, it could be a Metcon.
Yeah,
You're going to get
100%.
rest somewhere in the workout, but it's like the fact that you're going from start to finish an hour, 55 minutes, he said, or 50 minutes, 55 minutes.
Roughly, yeah.
So like the give or take, like that's so insane. The amount of like you said, the amount of volume is so high. It's so
We
crazy.
talked about it after the next day, like after we went back and were watching. Like, realistically, though, obviously we weren't in the elite numbers. Like the elites are running like 50 minutes, mid 50s, right? They're just absolutely crazy, or low upper 40s more so. But like doing a full high rocks is like pretty equivalent to doing two events at a CrossFit comp.
Jeez.
Like realistically, with the warm up and everything included, like it was hard, yes, but like I've done CrossFit comps where there's like 6 to 8 events in 2 days. It's like I personally think I wouldn't say this is a biased opinion as a CrossFit athlete, but I think doing a full CrossFit competition is harder. But on the other end of that, I'm also not pushing a 50-minute Hyrox either. Like it was an hour and six as with a partner. So like if I was doing a solo 53-minute, it might be way harder than a CrossFit comp. But I don't know. I think that's where a lot of discrepancy can happen between the Hyroxers and the CrossFitters who thinks what's harder and blah blah blah. But it was still very difficult. Don't get me wrong. I was smoked and whooped. Even the next morning, I was like, I feel like I just need to sleep another 2 hours. But yeah, it was really fun. And then to answer your second question, leading up to Hyrox, so we signed up, I think, in October, and it was in February. So November, December, for 3.5-ish, 4 months. I started changing at the first month, 1 day a week, I would change a CrossFit workout to do a running workout. The running workout was usually either a 3 to 8 mile run at an easy pace or like eight 1,000-meter runs with a 2-minute rest between, or 10 400-meter sprints with a 60-second jog between, like just more of a threshold day. And then starting in January after New Year's, I started doing that twice a week. So 1 day would be a longer-ish, slower run, like keeping my heart rate under 140. And then the other day would be uh, more of a threshold run.
Really?
Sometimes I would push it a little bit and I would do CrossFit in the morning. And then at the evening or in between coaching all day, I would do a 45-minute zone two run. But usually I try my best like during January, February to on run days, just run. But it's hard to like, especially you see a cool cross, like a good crossover guy, man, I'm gonna do good at this one. It's a good day to get better at my whatevers, and like, man, oh, I need to go run today. So it was hard
Yeah.
to give up a day or two of CrossFit, but in the grand scheme of things, I think realistically it made me fitter. Like doing some threshold running has helped a ton in my fitness, and it was probably for the better. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's other than that, nothing crazy different. Got to eat a little more.
that's always good. At least for me, that's always a good sign. But hey, you work it out, you work it off at least, you know. So, but so for so just by hearing about it, you were just said building that endurance. Not I would say
Mhm.
build your endurance, but like because your endurance is out of the like through the ceiling. So, but like would like you say like an endurance athlete, quote unquote, or
Mhm.
marathon runner, so to speak, would they be or how can I say this? That or what like what's the plus I'm trying to ask you? I had it in my head and it left me. But like I guess a CrossFit athlete or endurance athlete, who would you think benefit most in a Hyrox workout or Hyrox race?
Realistically, I don't know. It's a tough one because it kind of depends on the CrossFit athlete and it depends on the endurance. Like if it's an elite, if we're talking elite, like we're talking Cole Earn, who just won the Hyrox DC, and we're talking, I don't even know who's a really Dallin
Let's
Pepper, Jason Hopper, like somebody,
yeah.
one of those guys. Like realistically, I think the elite endurance athlete would win a Hyrox,
Oh
but
really?
in a CrossFit competition, those guys would absolutely devour Cole, or not devour. Maybe Cole might have some capabilities, but as far as more so on the strength and skill side, like there's no shot Cole Learn who can run 5-minute miles, which is phenomenal, but there's no way he's squat cleaning 315. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
that
say
makes sense.
that. I don't know for a fact. He might be able to. I'd be impressed if he could.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It kind of depends. But like Tia Claire Toomey, she before she was pregnant, I think she like wouldn't she do like a sub-hour high rock, something crazy? So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I saw that. It was so crazy. Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. Like the fact that like Tia Tubby, who's what is it, an 8-time CrossFit Games champ,
And
seven,
then
is it
did
seven
that
or eight,
what?
something like that.
I
Who did
think
they?
8. Yeah, I think something like that.
Eight sounds right. Eight. I don't want to misinform,
Yeah,
but yeah, eight. I think the fact that she's doing that, like at that level, still is speaks
crazy.
volumes to the kind of athlete
He's
she
a
is.
crazy athlete, 100%. Oh, I forgot to mention this in the partners. I was actually we were racing against Dallin Pepper, and Dallin Pepper
Really?
and Jack Farlow were teammates, and they were in the heat before us, so they started 10 minutes before us. But like through the mix of things and different timings and stuff, like we were running next to each other. It was pretty cool to see him.
What was that like? Because I mean, like, those are athletes obviously in their primes now. Like, what? Well, that's so crazy. Well, like
Hmm.
that experience was insane. Like the fact that you're racing, I guess technically against Dallin Pepper.
Yeah, technically, yeah, I was in a competition against him. I think him and Jack, they did pro doubles, same thing we did. I think they were like an hour, right at an hour,
Jeez,
and we were at an
jeez.
hour and six.
So not that far off.
So
You're not that
I was
far
like,
off.
honestly, technically, not that far off. Yeah, realistically.
You're right there. You're knocking on that threshold right there.
Yeah, but I think they had a little bit quicker running pace, and obviously their stations were probably 45 seconds faster each station. Oh, maybe not that much, but obviously they were faster. But yeah, it was cool. Like literally at one point in time, we were like running together at the same time, right next to each other. It was pretty cool.
Do you watch ever, like, speaking of podcasts, we're on the podcast now, but do you ever watch the podcast with Dallin Pepper and Justin Medeiros and all those
Oh
guys?
yeah, dude. I love that podcast. I love the way they're like, I understand that it's a super technically it's a rivalry and like they're all competing to win the CrossFit games, but like the way they do it, they're just homies. Like
Yeah,
they talk, they do fun challenges, like they're just boys, have literally boys having fun. And like I think it's bringing such a good look to the CrossFit space. Like they're just bringing that fun and that jive and that like good happy feeling back to CrossFit. It obviously is serious business, but they do a real good job at having fun. And they made Justin Medeiros do the milk mile yesterday because he
saw
lost the
that.
open. Yeah, like they just
I
do
was gonna bring
fun
that up.
stuff. Everybody
I
just
think
thinks
it's
they need to beef with people. It's like, dude, just have fun and be friends and you can still compete. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's what I try to like praise too. It's like, yeah, it's all fun. Like we can do CrossFit. It's serious. There's people who take it more serious than others, but like same time, at the end of the day, we're having fun. Like we're doing this, man. Let's
Yeah, you
all
hear
have
about it all the time. Like what's her name? I know Mal O'Brien. I know she doesn't do it anymore, but like she was 18, 19, 20 years old, like, and all she focused on was I have to train, I have to train. I don't have friends. I don't do this. I don't have a free time. And she burnt herself out and now she doesn't compete. Yes, she was one of the best in the world, but mentally and like she was
takes
just like
toll.
not having fun. It's like
Yeah,
there's no reason to not find something to joy in the competitive aspect of it, which I understand. Like I said, they're all competing to win hundreds of thousands of dollars at the CrossFit Games, which is a big deal. But they're doing a real good job about just being boys and hanging out.
that's what I love. That environment. It's like that's such a fun environment because like it takes a. I've said I'm not a competitor. I don't call myself a competitor at all. Like I work out 3 or 4 times a week, and that's that's my outlet. It's a CrossFit workout, you know. But that fact that you're at that level that Jason Hopper and all those guys, Medeiros and all those guys are at, and they're still having fun, which like
Yeah.
that's your job, that's your life,
Hmm.
is to be like the good, like the best. Obviously, they call it the fittest man in the world. What
Yeah.
Jason Hopper has right now, he has
Yep.
bragging rights over Dallin Pepper, everybody. That's the fact that you can actually sit back like, dude, like the milk mile, blah blah blah, and Justin barely losing by like was it a rep or two, a wall ball or two,
Seconds.
whatever.
Yeah. Or yeah, two wall balls or something.
It's ridiculous. It's kind of fun. It's fun hearing that, you know.
Yeah. I was cool to I actually before the race, I went to the bathroom, had the nervous pee, and then I was washing my hands, and Dallin came up and he was washing his hands next to me, and I asked him, I was like, "What do you think this was 1 week before week one of the Open?" We were just chatting it up. I asked him what he thought the workout would be because that was his week that he was going to the announcement, and he said he really was hoping for a rower, but he thought there was going to be a squat implement or something. He said, and I mean, he was right. There was a bunch of
Yeah,
squats, but no rower.
yeah. That's I remember watching that. I'm like, oh man, this when they had all the equipment out there, the box, the rower, the barbell. I'm
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here? Like,
What are we doing?
they're
That was a
Castro
funny
has
way to
them.
announce it. Yeah.
So the fact that we got what we did, I was like, oh man, my leg's gonna be shot for at least a month.
Yeah. It was hard, dude. My legs were so sore.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess they're gonna close things out, man. Thank you for coming on
Mhm.
again. But
Yeah, of course,
do
man.
you have any predictions, I guess, for 26.3?
Um, I think it's going to be a repeat of 22.2,
Okay,
1 to 10, and then 10 down to 1, deadlift and bar facing burpee.
that'll be fun
That's my prediction. If it's not that, I think 1000% there's going to be a burpee.
for sure.
And then I think there's going to be a barbell, whether it's snatches or deadlifts or power cleans, something like that.
something to where you got
I
to
don't
work.
think there's going to be a thruster because we did a wall ball, which is a very similar movement pattern week one. But I don't know. There's going to be a barbell and there's going to be burpees. That's my guess.
I think so. I think there's going to be something where it's going to be you have to get parallel over under something, whether that's through a barbell of some sort or
Mhm.
I think that does a squat, a clean and jerk, something. There's got to be something that's you're going to have to get below parallel and with a barbell. It's I could see that's happening somewhere. A thruster,
I would,
anything, you know.
yeah. I would love a clean and jerk and like maybe like a adding weight as you go or something fun. I don't know. We'll see what Dave Castro comes up with.
Yeah, you never know. Are you? Sorry, last question for real. Are
There
you
you go.
are you a Castro like hint guy? Are you trying to look for the hints, or are you just like,
Dude,
oh man, just
no,
give me
he
the workout?
sucks. He just does that to stir controversy. He just
Yeah,
sees something random.
yeah, man. I think so.
Although
But
the week one he posted, which it and then after he showed what it was, it didn't make sense. But like the first week he posted that picture of like a
an eye,
bullseye or something or an eye. And it
yeah,
made sense that it would be wall balls because it was like a target or bullseye. But then, like when he zoomed out, that had nothing to do with it, and it was more so
no,
what the statue was doing.
that didn't make any sense
But
either. Yeah,
it didn't make
I,
sense. Yeah, I mean the statue made sense because he looked like he was doing a wall ball. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. His like the one he posted yesterday or this morning, it was like a aerial view of some building. It looks like it was old. I don't know. I don't think I have no clue. I don't understand.
you know, I kind of gave up on those things. I'm like, you're here to just you're here for the new people, I guess, for
So
the
I'm saying he just it gets people thinking and talking and commenting, which is exactly what he wants, and he does a good job
yeah.
at it. Yep.
Cool, man. But for the meantime, until because this is Wednesday, we're recording this, so
Mhm.
maybe no, this time tomorrow we'll know what the workout is and
Yep.
killing
Tomorrow
it,
at 2 p.m.
sir. From Wadapalooza in Miami.
Yeah. There's some people there that competing there that
Yeah,
from y'all's gym. Yeah.
yeah. It's a couple people. Like just people just from their area, like different like
Uh-huh.
affiliates around here, like Annie Hapsire. I know her from Toronto Valley. She's
Okay.
working out there. Yeah, a couple people, yeah, who are going out there. Kill it. Hopefully, they kill it. But obviously, anybody from West Texas who represents at a big stage like that, I hope they
For
kill
sure.
it.
I would love to go down there one year. That's a big trip, but yeah, I hope they do great. That'd be fun. And I saw some of the workouts. It looks fun.
Yeah, that
Some of
looks
them, not
fun.
all of them, but
Yeah. Some of them, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, Jaren, thanks for coming on, dude. It's
for
always a
sure, man.
pleasure. Fun talking to you,
Yep.
man.
Heck yeah, dude. Thanks
Cool.
for having me. Hope things are well. Keep it up. Keep working.
So, you too, man. Thank you so much, dude.
All right. Yes, sir.
Everybody, thank out for everybody listening, and watching the video. English is not my forte apparently. But yeah, have a great guy. Rest all day, guys. Jaren, thanks for coming on, dude.
Sure, man. Thanks, dude.